Hello friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with a story in which our OP is on what seemed to be a great third date until everything took a sharp turn after they witnessed a car accident. Girl wants to leave the scene of an accident because of her politics. I was on a date with this girl who'd been great so far. It was our third time out. We were going to a concert. I was driving. It was going really well, and we were ahead of schedule when we witnessed a car accident. Car A was stopped at a green, no hazards or turn signal or anything oncoming towards them, just sitting there. A green to red green cycle occurs, so it's a fresh green. The car directly behind Car A, Car B, gives a polite honk to Car A. Nothing happens. The light turns red again. On the next green, Car B drives around Car A. Just as Car B goes to drive around, Car A turns, no signal, and smashes into Car B. Car B comes to a stop. Car A drives off. I immediately got out and went to check on Car B's driver. His car was banged up pretty good, but thank God he was fine. Other Good Samaritans had stopped by this point and were helping to attend to Car B and making sure nobody ran into him while he was stopped, so I went back to move my car somewhere safe. First, though, I said to the girl I was driving with, "I guess we better call 911 and let the police know about all this." And she said, appalled, "Don't do that. You said he's fine. Let's just go." I couldn't believe she was so fixated on us making the concert that she was suggesting we just skip out on the scene of an accident. I figured I'd get my car off the road, then assess the situation. There was too much going on at once. I hoped I must be misunderstanding her. I found a suitable place to pull off, and when I'd come back, police had already arrived. I was hanging around waiting to talk to them. One told me they'd want to take my statement in a bit, but I'd already figured as much. I was overhearing them talking to Car B's driver, and they asked if he had a dash cam or anything like that. That's when I remembered I have a dash cam. I hadn't thought of it because I wasn't driving my usual car. My brother let me borrow his for the date. My driving us both to the concert was last minute when she suggested we both go together to save on parking. I offered to do it, trying to be a gentleman, but my car's a pigsty and I didn't have time to properly clean it. I wanted to make a decent first impression, so my brother's car was the backup. I went to the car to pop the camera off its holder. I wasn't sure how to extract the video's data, but figured they'd know. The girl I was with asked me what I was doing, and pretty excited about the whole thing, I explained I'd probably captured the incident with the dash cam, so I was going to bring it over to the police. She grabbed my wrist, like with force, gripped my wrist is more like it, and yanked me back into the front seat. I thought maybe another car was coming or something. She gave me a heart attack. "You can't do that," she gasped, like I told her I was going to ram the guy a second time for some insurance money of my own. "Let's just go," she insisted. I couldn't believe it. That was a total turnoff for me. One of the things that had most attracted me to the girl in the first place was her compassion for others, service-oriented profession, and seemingly deep capacity for empathy. This was out of left field. I told her we had to stay around until the crash had been resolved since we were witnesses. The police would want to talk to me, probably her too. She emphasized again, "You can't do that." "What? Do what?" I asked, trying to figure out what I was missing. "You can't talk to the police," she said, like it was cancerous. Still confused, I thought she meant I shouldn't insert myself into an active crime scene or whatever, so I explained the police had already let me know while I was over there that they definitely want my statement. She goes, "You, a white male, are just going to cooperate with police?" Of course. First of all, she's white. Second of all, the driver of Car B was black. I gave up on trying to understand and told her, "I think I'm probably missing something here." And she replied, "Yeah, about 3 centuries of systemic marginalization and oppression." I felt like I was reading a hoax article in the New York Post. I told her the obvious, that the impacted driver was black and probably wanted the incriminating dash cam footage of the person who hit his car. She has the nerve to go, "He doesn't know what he wants. He's probably too scared. You have to help him." I was having trouble computing what she'd said, and I was still pretty excited that I had dash cam footage, so I told her the police had already let me know I had to give the statement, so I was pretty sure leaving at that point would be illegal, but that I'd be right back. I mean, she couldn't get mad at me for following the law, right? Wrong. When I got back, she was gone. Haven't heard from her since. Even after I reached out to be sure she'd made it home okay, probably for the best we didn't make it any further. Maybe she had an outstanding warrant and she was afraid they'd ask her to give a statement to, find out who she was and arrest her. Having weird politics is one thing, but just disappearing like that in the middle of the scene, leaving her ride behind, is damn suspicious. And our second story. Arriving on time is important. A company whose accessories we have was doing a special delivery so that we'd have some stock for the weekend. I'm not sure how much it cost, but it was not cheap to have this done. I was told the guy would be by at 7:30 p.m. with the things. I'm to put it into the office, and the morning shift will unpack it and all that jazz. It was coasters or something, so it was likely only one or two smallish boxes. Cool, sounds good. We close at 8, and that gives me plenty of time. 8:03 rolls around, and we're locked up, and the guy's still not here. Cue phone call. He'll be DD for delivery driver, and I'll be me. DD, hey, I'm almost there. I should be there by 8:20. Me. Hi, I can only stay until 8:15. Also, you were supposed to be here at 7:30. We were told 7:45 at the latest. DD. We don't normally do deliveries. This is a favor for you. Me. Well, if it's past 8:15, you'll need to talk to my manager because I won't be around to let you in anymore. I'm not allowed to be in the store past a certain time. End call. I call my manager and tell her what happened. She texts the guy and he doesn't contact her until after he speaks to me at 8:20. She's also informed me that this is a paid delivery and not a favor. By 8 o'clock, I've already cashed out the tills and have restocked all the things that need to go out onto the floor. When he called the first time, I was just sitting around reading a book and wondering what my next course of action would be. 8:10 rolls around and I've not heard anything from the guy. I've turned off most of the lights except the ones in the center of the store. I text my manager and she says that I should leave at exactly 8:15 like I'm scheduled to. That's fine. I go to the bathroom, and then when it's 8:15, I text that I'm leaving and turn off the remaining lights. My manager tells me that she'll deal with it if he arrives. The phone rings as I'm entering the security code, so I'm not about to pick it up. I leave, and the mall security guard approaches me, saying there's an extremely angry man attempting to make a delivery for company name. I tell her that since it's past 8:15, I can't receive him. She goes to tell him this, and when I walk past, she looks visibly shaken. Now I'm pissed. I march over to the mall's receiving doors and see him standing there looking arrogant. DD, I'm here for your delivery. Me, it's past 8:15 and now we're on my time. Also, you've been incredibly rude to the security guard. DD, well, what am I supposed to do? Me, you can talk to my manager now because I'm not dealing with you. You were supposed to be here at 7:30. DD, we're doing this as a favor for you guys. We normally don't deliver to this location. Me, no, this isn't a favor, it's paid for. It's an exchange of goods and services. You had an appointment to keep, and this is ridiculous that you're this late. If I was this late to my job, I would have been fired. Good night. I turn and walk away. DD, that's what you're going to say to me? Me, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to say to you. You can talk to my manager now. She contacted you. Have a good night. I walk to the security guard desk, and she's looking a lot better. We file an incident report because he was literally screaming at both of us. I called my manager right after and told her everything that had just happened. She called me back and told me that the guy said I was rude to him and that I shouted at him. I never once raised my voice, but we've dealt with this guy before, so she knows that anything said by him is likely a total lie. In the end, my quite pregnant manager and her husband had to come to the store to accept the delivery at almost 9 p.m. The driver apparently yelled at her too, and she let her husband deal with it. Edit, to clarify some things, the company's a local one and their warehouse is 35 minutes away from my store. They did not pay a professional driver to truck it over to us. They had one of their own employees bring it in their Toyota truck. We've dealt with them several times in the past, and this is a chronic problem. Customers, however, really love the product, so we keep carrying. One order was supposed to arrive at 4:30 p.m., and the guy didn't appear until 9:30 p.m. and was pissed that nobody was there to receive him. We tried calling their warehouse and head office. They kept saying that the guy would be there momentarily. We even called them to let them know that after 8 o'clock we could not receive them because the mall would be closed. I worked in shipping and receiving for a large company before and know what kind of pressure truck drivers are under. The people this company is bring us stuff are not professionals. They're just various people who work for the company that are always extremely rude to us. I'm trying to imagine a situation where a couple of small boxes of coasters are so essential to your store that they paid extra for a special delivery, took verbal abuse from the driver, and drove their pregnant butt back to a deserted mall at 9 p.m. just to get them. And our last story. Found out the land I inherited has a bunch of people living on it. When my grandpa passed away in 2022, he left me a large piece of land. It took a while for everything to be legally settled, but within the last few weeks, I finally had it all figured out. Part of the process involved getting the property boundaries surveyed and laid out by drone, and when I saw the final map, I was floored. The first thing I noticed was that the land was way bigger than I had ever imagined. But that wasn't the biggest surprise. The second thing, people had built houses on my land, not just one, but several. These aren't ancient homes or long-standing estates. No, these are recent builds, houses, pools, driveways, all on land that my family has owned for generations. And as far as I can tell, they never asked for permission. There's no record of agreements, nothing. They just took the land. I have no idea what to think of it. For years, people have been tearing down trees, digging into the property, and essentially treating it like it's their own, all while it's been under my family's ownership. Now, I don't have much of a personal issue with most of the folks who built on the land, besides the obvious frustration that parts of the forest have been destroyed. But one neighbor in particular stands out. The guy shot one of my dogs when I was just a kid, and I've harbored a lot of resentment toward him ever since. And now I find out that he's been living on land that's technically mine? Let's just say that stirs up some old emotions. The good thing is I already have a lawyer who helped me with the legal matters when my grandpa passed, so I reached out to them for advice on what to do next. Update. After going through all the legal details with my lawyer, it turns out these neighbors were essentially squatting on the land thinking it was theirs. We sent formal notices to each household outlining the situation and offering them two options. Either they pay for the land they've built on at a fair market value or face legal consequences, which could include eviction and potential lawsuits for damages. As you can imagine, things got heated. Some neighbors, realizing their mistake, were more than willing to negotiate and pay for the land they'd unknowingly encroached upon. However, that neighbor, the one who shot my dog, wasn't so cooperative. He tried to claim squatters' rights, saying he lived there long enough to own the land, but my lawyer shut that down quickly, since the time requirements for adverse possession weren't even close to being met. We ended up taking him to court, and let's just say it didn't go well for him. The judge ruled in my favor, and he was ordered to either pay a hefty sum for the land or remove his house from the property entirely. The look on his face when the verdict was announced was priceless. The land's back under my control, and I even plan to reforest the damaged areas. As for my neighbor, well, he won't be around much longer. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.